So, you've probably heard about AI that can write an email for you, or maybe even create some art. But what if I told you there's a new AI that can actually do things on your computer? It's called Claude Code, and in this explainer, we're going to break down what it is and why it's a huge deal for everyone. Yep, even if you've never written a single line of code in your life. You might have felt this already. There's this buzz, this excitement around this new thing that feels, well, it feels different. It's like a huge shift is happening right under our feet. This isn't just some new app, it's a whole new way of working with our computers. So what on earth is all the fuss about? All right, let's get right to it. What exactly is Claude Code? We've all gotten pretty used to AI chatbots, the ones we can talk to. But this is a totally different kind of animal. I want you to imagine an AI that doesn't just give you advice, but actually works alongside you. That's really the big idea here. We're not talking about a chatbot anymore. We're talking about a digital coworker that can take on some pretty complex tasks and see them all the way through. Okay, this slide right here gets to the absolute heart of it. For years, AI has been an advisor. It suggests things, it drafts stuff, it gives you summaries. But the jump from advising to acting, that is a massive leap. Think of it like this. It's the difference between an assistant who gives you directions to the grocery store and an assistant who actually takes your car keys, drives to the store, and buys the groceries for you. That's the jump we're talking about. And the potential here is already being shown off in some pretty mind-blowing ways. I mean, think about it. A personal Spotify Wrapped, but for your text messages, showing you who you talk to most, which emojis you're always using, all built in just a few minutes. Or something really complex, like a program that can sift through your personal DNA data. This isn't just some theory. People are building real, functional, and sometimes, wonderfully weird things with it, like right now. Okay, I get it. If all this talk about DNA analyzers and building apps is making your head spin, please don't worry. You are definitely not alone. And honestly, the whole point of this tech is to make these powerful things more accessible to everybody, no matter what your technical background is. You don't need the leather jacket or the cool hacker nickname to get what's going on here. So how does it actually work? Well, at its core, it follows this really simple but powerful four-step loop. You give it a goal, something high level. It figures out a plan, and then it actually changes the files. And then, this is the magic part, it runs tests to check its own work. If it messed up, it learns from that mistake and it tries again. It's this self-correcting loop, this relentless trial and error that lets it just keep working on its own until the job is done. Now, of course, giving an AI this much freedom, well, it comes with some pretty real risks. And this analogy is just perfect. A 5-year-old with superpowers could build you an amazing castle, right? Or they could accidentally burn the entire house down. You have to be super clear with your instructions, because once you tell it to go, it will keep going until it thinks the job is done, for better or for worse. So, we've talked about the tech, but now we get to the really important question. Why should you care? This is where this whole thing goes from being a cool tool for programmers to something that could really impact all of us. And look, that's a totally fair question. A revolution for software developers is one thing, but what about accountants or marketers or project managers? Well, you might want to buckle up because the tech behind this is about to jump out of the coder's basement and land right in the middle of your office. A drop-in remote worker. Wow, that phrase is pretty jarring, isn't it? But it cuts right to the heart of the matter. The logic is actually simple. If your job is mostly about moving files around on a computer, spreadsheets, documents, presentations, then an AI that can act on a computer could, in theory, do a lot of that job. And listen, this is not science fiction anymore. Anthropic already released this, Claude Coworker. The idea is exactly the same as Claude Code, but instead of pointing it at a bunch of complicated code, you point it at a shared drive full of your work files. You can ask it to, say, find all the quarterly reports from last year, pull out the revenue numbers and put them in a new spreadsheet. And it just does it. So a technology like this could completely reshape the future of pretty much all knowledge work. But is that a promise of some incredible new level of productivity, or is it a serious threat to our job security? That's the huge debate that's raging right now. You really see two completely different visions for where this is all headed. The warning is pretty stark, a white-collar bloodbath, where millions of jobs are just automated away. But the hope is for more of a great rearrangement. In that future, we aren't replaced, we're promoted. We become the managers of a whole team of AI agents. The real outcome, well, it probably isn't going to be just one or the other. It's going to be a messy mix of both. And it'll probably depend on how fast we adapt and how we choose to use these tools, as replacements or as collaborators. So how do you even prepare for a world where your next coworker might be an AI? Let's talk about what's coming, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. Playing around with these new AI agents feels exactly like this. It's like you're wielding this incredible, almost magical new power. When you give it a command and it just perfectly organizes a super messy folder, it feels amazing. But at the same time, there's this constant little feeling in the back of your head that things could get very chaotic very fast if you're not paying close attention. At the end of the day, nobody has a crystal ball, but we can be pretty sure that things in the world of work are about to get weird. The single most important thing to take away from all this is not to be scared and not to ignore it. The barrier to entry for using these tools is dropping by the day. The absolute best way to figure out what's coming is to start experimenting now. Get a feel for it, understand what it's good at, and what its weird limitations are. That's the best preparation there is. And that really leaves us right here. As these tools get woven into the fabric of our everyday work, the lines are going to start to blur. The skills that matter are going to change. And the future of your career might just depend on how you answer this one question. Will you be the one directing the AI, or will you be the one taking directions from it? It's something we all need to start thinking about, starting today.